What's up everyone, my name is Marie, welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's build, I thought it was time to go back and build a base game starter home. So this house is very basic. It comes in at just under 20,000 simoleons, and by that I mean just under 20,000 simoleons. I think you have about 4 simoleons left when you buy this house. So yeah, this house comes in just under 20,000 simoleons. However, you should be able to afford this if you just start out playing the game. And the nice thing about this house is that it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. So for a starter home, I thought that that was actually pretty good. The house definitely does need a little bit of love though on the inside. But yeah, because this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, that gave me not a lot of money to work with for the interior of the house, because that's a lot of rooms to furnish and a lot of plumbing to buy and stuff like that. So yeah, usually starter homes are 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom most of the time, which makes sense because then you can actually afford to buy some furniture. But yeah, I really wanted to see how far I could stretch out the starter home budget and what I could do with it. So I decided to go for 3 bedrooms. The bedrooms, however, are very small, especially for the parents' bedroom. That bedroom is very small. It does work for a double bed and a dresser though, but that is all I was able to fit in there. So yeah, that bedroom is pretty much empty except for the bed and the dresser, which is very sad. But it doesn't matter, it still has 3 bedrooms, so that is actually very nice. And at first, before I decided to make this all base game, I was thinking I could go for a like a fixer-upper type starter home where it's in need of a paint job and where it has like cracks on the wall and spider webs and whatnot. And then I decided, you know what, that's a lot of fun, but I kind of want to make it base game. So then I decided to not go for the whole fixer-upper kind of thing as much, because in base game we don't have any of the like cracks in the walls and stuff like that that you can place. Those things are all from vampires, if I'm not mistaken, like the stains and the cracks and that sort of thing that you can place on the wall. They are free though, which makes it fun to use for starter homes. But yeah, I decided to make this whole thing base game so you can all download this and play with this house and renovate it from time to time and just make it your own. So yeah, it is all base game. It doesn't look as run down, but that doesn't mean that it's not in need of some love, because honestly, this house on the inside, it is kind of sad. Like I already explained, did not have a whole lot of money to furnish the place because it is quite big for a starter home. So it definitely only has the basics and not the nicest furniture either. I basically just picked the cheapest option I could find for everything, pretty much. So yeah, that makes that the house on the inside is not too pretty. But that's fine. That's also a lot of fun because it does mean that you can just move into this house from the get-go. If you're not playing with any money cheats, then you can just afford this house. And if you're starting out with a bigger family, which you could definitely do, you could start out, for this house specifically, you could start out with 2 parents and a kid. And then I also decorated a nursery. So you could also have your sim get pregnant and have another baby. I did not include any toddler items. Well, that's a lie, actually. I did include a toddler potty in the bathroom, so that's already for you to go ahead and use. And then in the nursery, I think I also placed the building blocks on the floor. So if you decide to have a baby and your baby grows up into a toddler, then the toddler already has a couple of toys to play with from the get-go, which I thought was very nice. So basically, this house has you all set up. But what I was trying to say was, if you start out with a bigger family, I think if you start out with a family of 3, then you get a little bit of extra simoleons. So that means that you can still afford this house, obviously, because you have more money. And then you have a little bit of extra money left over. So then you could, I don't know, either like buy an easel, for example, to get your Sims started on some painting and sell those paintings, or what have you, or just use the little bit of extra cash that you have to decorate the place a little bit more, because I can totally understand that you would want to do that because this place is a little bit sad and empty on the inside. However, it does have everything that your Sims would need. And so if you do decide to just start out with one single sim or 2 sims, then you can still afford this place because it comes in at under 20,000 simoleons. So that is actually very nice. And like I already said 1,000 times, it is only base game, and I went for the cheapest option I could find with base game. However, base game items tend to be a little bit more expensive than items that we got later on with different packs. So sometimes I wish I could go for an even cheaper option, but then I wasn't able to do that because the cheapest option was from a different pack. So yeah, sometimes I just couldn't do that, sadly. But thankfully we do have a couple of very, very cheap items in The Sims. For example, these kitchen counters and appliances that I'm using are not expensive at all. They're very cheap and they're base game, so that was a win. And as you can see, I closed off one little corner in the kitchen because the kitchen was just this like very boxy rectangular shape, and it was very difficult to make it look somewhat cozy with the lack of money that I had. So yeah, I just decided to close off one little corner to make the place look a little bit more interesting, make the shape a little bit more different, and I thought it worked. I think that the kitchen is actually quite cozy. I was even able to afford a couple of overhead cabinets, which is very, very nice for a starter home because usually I cannot afford those, or I buy them anyway and then get rid of something else to make the house look even more empty. But I just really enjoy using overhead cabinets. It makes the house look so much more realistic and so much more lived in, if that makes sense, and it just fills up the kitchen so nicely. So yeah, that's what I decided to go ahead and do, and I was actually able to afford them. And then later on, like when I was all finished with the house, I even had a little bit of money left over, the tiniest amount of money, to actually buy some extra decorations. So for example, I was able to place a little plant on the console table and a little lamp on the desk, and also even a couple of books on the desk as well, which was very, very nice. So I was at least able to make the place look a little bit lived in. But yeah, upstairs, as you can see, for the bedrooms, I kept them very, very empty. However, I was able to afford some toys for the kid, obviously. That was something that I really, really wanted to do, because if you have a kid's bedroom, you also need a couple of toys. So I was able to afford a Blarfy and a toy box. So the kid at least has a couple of things to do. And then the nursery is very small. This bedroom is very, very tiny, but I just placed a little bit of I just placed a little crib and a tiny chair and a kid's bookcase as well. And then as you can see, I also placed some blocks on the floor. And then at first I was thinking that I was gonna have to leave the upstairs bathroom empty, or at least just make it into a half bathroom, but then I actually did have some money to afford a tub. So that's actually very nice. So once your baby grows up into a toddler, you also have a tub for you, for your Sims, to actually go ahead and bathe the toddler. So this house really does have you all covered and all set up to get started with the game, which was definitely my goal for this house. And I think it turned out nice. However, with base game starters, I always struggle a little bit to make them look interesting on the exterior. I did go crazy with debug landscaping, as you can see. So I don't know if that counts as cheating in your book, but I think it's fine. So yeah, I at least wanted to make the house look pretty on the exterior. So I went a little bit overboard with debug landscaping. But it's all good. I also placed a couple of planter pots on the back porch so that your Sims can do some gardening, because I did want there to be at least one skill building item in this house, aside from the bookcase. And then there is also a TV, but I wasn't able to afford a computer, sadly. But I knew that I wasn't going to be able to afford a computer from the get-go, because this house is pretty big for a starter home. Quite a bit of rooms to furnish. So yeah, a computer, you're just gonna have to save up for that one. I'm so sorry, but you can just travel to the library and use one. But that is actually already going to be it for this speed build. So let's just jump right into the game and I'll show you the house in real time. So here we have the house in the game. For a starter home, I think it looks pretty decent. I think it looks kind of cute and pretty in a way. It is a little bit empty. For example, this side does not have any windows. So that's something for you to work on. If you decide to play in this house, you can obviously just go ahead and save up for a nice little renovation. I think that this house could be really good for that. But yeah, over here we have the front front porch. It's kind of empty, but there are a couple of decorations. And then when we go inside, we have this tiny little entryway. We have a coat rack and a mirror, which is a plus. I was also able to afford a bookcase. Obviously, I really wanted to place at least a bookcase for your Sims to work on some skills. Then over here, we have the sad little living area. There is no coffee table, but there is a nice console table though. And since this living area is so small, it doesn't really need a coffee table either. And then behind the couch, we have the little study area. So we have a desk and a chair all set up for you, just no computer. So you're gonna have to work on that. And then over here, we have the downstairs bathroom. It's a full bathroom, which is nice. It is very sad and empty. As you can see, it literally only has the necessities, but it does have some toilet paper and also a potty, which is great. No blinds though, so that is something to work on as well, I guess. And then over here, we have the kitchen. I actually am surprisingly happy with how this kitchen turned out. I mean, it's kind of empty. We don't have any decorations on the counters, as you can see, but we do have some overhead cabinets, and I think it actually looks nice. We have the bin in the corner here, and then we have this small dining table with 4 chairs, so all the Sims in this household can actually sit and have dinner together, which is nice. And then I even was able to afford a couple of curtains to make the place look a little bit more cozy. Then upstairs, we have the tiny little landing area, which is pretty much empty aside from this chair and this tiny little rug. Then over here, we have the quote-unquote master bedroom. It's exactly the same size as the kids' bedroom. So I don't know, maybe it could use a little bit of a reno. But yeah, the master bedroom literally only has a bed and a dresser, a mirror, and a plant, and that is it. So it's kind of sad, but it is functional, which is nice. Then over here, we have the kids' bedroom. This one is also very empty, but it does have at least a couple of toys. So your Sims kid should be fine and ready to go in here. And then last but not least, we have the nursery. This is definitely the smallest bedroom, but for a nursery, it definitely works. And for a toddler's bedroom as well. So we have a little crib and then just this little decorated corner over here, and even some blocks on the floor for when the baby grows up. And then over here, we have the upstairs whole bath with a tub, so you can even bathe your toddler, which is nice. Then over here in the backyard, we have the outdoors trash can, obviously, and a couple of planter pots as well, which is nice for skill building. And then for the rest, the backyard is kind of empty. I mean, I kind of filled it up with these debug stones on the floor, like these little stepping stones, which I think looks very cute. But then we only have this little picnic table out here, so your Sims can actually go ahead and hang out in the backyard when the weather is nice. But that is basically it for the backyard, so that is kind of sad. But that's actually it for this house. So this base game starter home is up on the gallery, and it comes in at 19,996 simoleons. So that gives you literally 4 simoleons to work with if you start out with a starter home budget, that is. So yeah, I built it on a 20 by 15 in Willow Creek, so if you want to place it in your game, then that's where it goes. That is actually it for this video, so I really hope that you enjoyed this build. You can obviously go ahead and download it off the gallery like I just showed you. My username on the gallery is Simmarysims. You can also follow me on Twitter and on Instagram if you'd like. My username on there is Simmarysims as well. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so, and if you want to be notified of every single time I upload a video, just click that little bell icon and you should be fine. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!